Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right, it's that time of year again. It just seems like we just did this reading less than 6 months ago. Probably because we did. Guess what? It's budget time. Yeah, budget time. You know, when the current GOP in the House get around to not doing what they're supposed to be doing, even the simplest acts of Congress, like putting together a budget. And this will be no exception. The budget is due. There's a government shutdown for September 30th. Here we go again. Hardline conservatives expect that Speaker Mike Johnson will embrace a favor tactic to tie a partisan proof of citizenship voting bill with the budget. Okay, so the funding plan, let's see, Chip Roy, a member of the Freedom Caucus, is publicly expressing confidence that Johnson will do this. Mike Johnson appears ready and willing to do this. He was on the Bannon's War Room podcast. Bannon obviously is not running it because he's in prison. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, known as the SAVE Act, led by Roy, requires proof of citizenship to register to vote. And they want to tie that to a continuing resolution that extends into 2025. It's unlikely the Democrats or President Biden would accept such a bill. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why wouldn't you support showing proof of citizenship when you register to vote? Biden's administration said, we already have laws on the books that address this, and they're working as intended. And by implementing this bill, you run the risk of purging eligible voters from voter rolls. Because what happens if they can't find that you had your proof of citizenship? Then they're going to boot you from it, even though you're a citizen. Here's another way to look at it. Let's say you come up in a family where, maybe one of the parents, let's say the dad's not there, and the mom may be doing drugs or something along those lines. Or works hard, or just maybe isn't organized. There could be a number of reasons. Economic reasons, social reasons. There's a number of reasons that could cause that. Now, let's say they lose your birth certificate, or they never understood the importance of your birth certificate, or it got lost and they don't have time to get you a replacement birth certificate. You go to register to vote and you can't because you don't have proof that you're a citizen. Do you just not vote at that point? How do you get around this? And maybe you're young and you don't care at that point. And then maybe as you get older, you got a driver's license. Then they had you could register when you got your driver's license type of thing. But you've never shown proof of citizenship. So now they're going to take away your right to vote even if you've been voting. There's all sorts of scenarios where people who would be eligible to vote can't vote because they can't find that document that proves that they're a U.S. citizen. Okay? Could be a fire in the house that wipes that out. There's all sorts of things that go with that. So I get the voter suppression thing. I just want to give a quick little shout out for folks that pointed it out. In my video the other day about Donald Trump being upset that his wife, his son, and his wife's parents all speak Slovenian in the house, and he doesn't understand it. Somebody in the comments said, oh, maybe that explains his rant in March of 2024. And I had forgotten about that. But I remember how, when she said that, I looked it up, I remembered how stupid the rant was. Because he talks about people coming to this country speaking languages that nobody's ever heard of before. And just thinking, what the hell kind of nonsense statement is that? They're speaking a language no one's ever heard before. Okay, to speak and to hear is part of language. That's kind of funny. But, translation, they're not speaking English and I don't understand any of the languages, therefore that should be banned. He's such a freaking simpleton. Yeah. And he's the leader of the dumb brigade, and the dumb brigade follows after him. Yeah. Okay. Congress, Mike Johnson. We have a budget coming up. What's the energy around Mike Johnson? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene going to finally get her opportunity to stick her knives into the back of Mike Johnson? You know, it's exciting times to be sure. Entertainment purposes only. Mike Johnson, budget, SAVE Act. What do we got? We got a celebration, a trifecta of happiness here. Celebration, or somebody could be filling up the cup. Making Vasa. The Magician, manifesting. And the Devil card. Okay. Yeah. Right now, I would believe Chip Roy when he's saying that Mike Johnson's considering adding the SAVE Act to the budget. By doing so, they may be able to, stick it to the libs by putting in this this item with the budget, so that the Senate has to reject it, or if the Senate passes it, Biden has to reject it, and then they have this great talking point that they can come up with that the Democrats want non-citizens to register to vote, because the only way to prevent them from doing that is by having this SAVE Act. The talking point that we already have laws on the books that are working. Why are you worried about this? That's irrelevant. They're not worried about it. They just want a talking point to help Trump in the Trump campaign with this. That's the energy around this. Does that mean he's going to do it? Not necessarily. That's the plan. They think this is a good plan. It helps MAGA. It helps Trump. In the past, you got all these illegal citizens, all these foreigners coming in and registering to vote and changing the election in 2020. So we can't have that again. Again, this is all about election denialism and election interference. This is just another voter suppression system that the GOP are coming up with. Current situation is the two of coins, weighing the options of wanting to actually do this, because it's a freaking election year, and you're going to start messing with the budget on September 30th, a month before the election. Is this really worth doing? Again, it's the extremists in the Republican Party that want to do this. The Republicans in moderately unsafe seats, or even moderately safe seats, don't want this to happen. They're going to get creamed. Overarching energy is the Nine of Swords. Exactly what I was talking about. Here we go again. The extremists are protected. The Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Matt Gaetzes, the Jim Jordans and such. They either live in very gerrymandered districts or very conservative red districts. I'm sure Chip Roy is in the reddest of red districts. So he has no problem doing this because it doesn't impact him any. If anything, it makes him even more popular in an election where he probably doesn't have to worry about losing. So, it's not about team. They put the I in team. Now, anybody who's not in a protected district is probably like, oh no, not again. Let's not do this. The American public is going to judge us for this. Unless we just wear them down. If we have so many budget disputes that people just say, it's just both sides suck, then the Republicans win with their hardball tactics. But we have to hope that people still hold other folks accountable for this. Outcome is the Hermit card. I think Johnson's going to try and look for a way to move this forward. Honestly, budgets typically didn't have, as I recall, they didn't have other things attached to them. They were just the budget. And just getting the budget done. Because it was important. You want a bill? You want to put the SAVE Act? Pass the SAVE Act. Nothing preventing Mike Johnson from bringing it to the floor and having all the Republicans vote for it and send it up to the Senate and have Chuck Schumer just put it in committee or table it and never bring it to the floor. You can at least say you passed it. You did something. And it's those evil Democrats in the Senate that didn't want you to vote on it, so that all the immigrants moving in, all registered to vote, and they're all going to vote Democrat because they all want a handout. That's the current narrative. Okay, so the energy seems to feel like that Mike Johnson's looking into this, and if he can find a way, he may a path forward with this. He may pursue that path forward. I think that's what that Hermit card was showing, is that he's looking for a path forward. All right, so will the Fool card's popping up here? Will the Republicans manage to pass a budget before the September 30th deadline that has this resolution attached to it? The continuing resolution, I guess the continuing resolution is basically what we've been doing before, is that what they want to do with the budget is just say, hey, you know what? Just same budget, we're just going to let it roll in 2025. Congress literally doesn't do its job anymore. At least when it's led by the Republicans. They can't even do the basic job functions. Will Johnson and the Republicans successfully get this attached for Carter? The Tower card. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement for getting things done. Happy family. The Judgment card. I think there's going to be too much backlash. They start talking about it. I think what's going to happen, though, is that there's going to be a lot of backlash for it. Maybe they do some polling or some the public relations, and they find out the public, this is exactly what they don't want to have happening. With their polling, it's going to impact them negatively on the elections, and people are not going to be happy with it. This isn't going away. The SAVE Act isn't going away. They'll still look for ways to do it, but it doesn't look like it'll get tied to the budget, or at least it won't. As the question was asked, will they get it done before September 30th? That does not look like it's going to happen. And again, if it does, it's good. If they do force it through there's going to be a firestorm. There will be judgment for it. The Democrats will point out that we have laws on the books already doing this. This is ridiculous to have this thing on here. We already have laws that do that. If you want it that badly, approve it on a separate vote. Don't clog up the budget with it. Government shutdown is going to look really bad on the folks running for re-election, especially if there's an R after your name, because I think the Democrats will be able to pin it on you. Okay. Will there be a government shutdown prior to November 3rd, is it? I think it's November 3rd for the election in November 2024. Will there be a government shutdown? In other words, do they not get the continuing resolution passed? Same thing. They're willing to risk it. Victory, the Emperor, Wheel of Fortune, the Six of Swords. It would be suicide. Honestly, will they get it through? I think what this, to me, it's like this is suicidal if they try to force this thing through. I think it might be another one of those things where, it's looking catastrophic, and at the last minute things get passed. Biden's going to be here saying, get this stuff done. I see a victory in a Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, to me, is like they kick the can down the road. The victory is they get the continuing resolution through. I don't think the CR is going to be attached. They'll get it done at the last minute. They're going to make Biden stay up past his bedtime to sign these things. It could be like the last one where they don't get it to the Senate signed before 10 o'clock at night on Friday so that the government shuts down over the weekend, but it's opened up first thing Monday morning, that sort of thing. Because that's what happened with the last one. There actually was a shutdown, but it happened over the weekend. It was only for a few hours, and all services were returned to normal on Monday. So it was basically a non-event. I don't want to read any more on that. As we get closer to it, we'll get into the drama. I'm sure Marjorie Taylor Greene again will have her knives out and ready to go after Mike Johnson if she even thinks for a second that he's going to pass a budget and not shut the whole government down. At least there's no funding for Ukraine or the Palestinians or Israel or Taiwan associated with this current budget battle. So thank goodness for small favors. Again, entertainment purposes only. I hope you found this reading insightful. Thank you for supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.